Welcome again our guest, Jasmine Leek from Third City Coalition. Welcome to Stockton 360.
Thank you.
All right, all right. Welcome. Yes, and of course, this is Governor Don.
And Professor Jimenez.
In case you didn't get it the first time around, we are broadcasting on the voiceofstockton.org if you want to catch the live stream right here in the studio. And of course, you can tune in on the TuneIn app, and you can listen on your smart device from anywhere in the world. And well, we're excited to have a fellow broadcaster in the booth.
Yeah.
Yes. So tell us. Let's start a little bit about your background, Jasmine, and your roots in our hometown here in Stockton.
Yeah. So I was born and raised here in Stockton, back in 1989. So I'm 27. I just turned 27 last week, actually.
Nice. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Belated.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a product of Stockton schools. I went to Lincoln High School and transferred to Delta College, and then on to UOP, where I studied applied economics. I was going to school kind of around the recession period, 2008, 2009, and yeah, it's just like an interesting experience being in Stockton because of how hard it was hit. Yeah. And took a full-time job with a company called AT&T.
Heard about them?
Yeah, and moved my way up through their sales channel and simultaneously out of Stockton. So I moved back to Stockton probably August of 2014.
Okay.
And I've been back since, and just kind of jumped right into community, coming back to Stockton with fresh adult eyes. It was really interesting to see how much it had changed, and the opportunity here to really make an impact on community. And so got involved with a lot of different projects, but yeah, here I am. So.
All right. Well, welcome back home.
Thanks.
Yeah.
AT&T obviously saw some value in you. They wanted to reel you in, but you made your way back to Stockton. Tell us a little bit about Third City Coalition.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's been a long road to get there, but so Third City is a community-based organization that is really focused on showing people about the unique opportunities and cultivating opportunities in cities like Stockton and across the country. So we obviously are starting here because that's where we are, but we focus on creating opportunities for people and also looking into policies that will help us create more opportunity for people here. And they're all centered around urban development and community-driven projects.
Excellent, excellent. And of course, I mean, if you haven't had a chance to check out the is it a vlog? Is it a
yeah?
It's
or a podcast.
Our podcast.
It's a podcast.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But it's a video podcast, right? I mean,
it's audio right now.
Oh no.
Maybe eventually we'll get into video, but
I thought
right now
I
we're
saw
audio.
a video.
We saw, I think,
It's like
it's kind of like a cover,
yeah.
right? Like when you first started the podcast.
It was like a teaser.
There was a teaser.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We use a lot of video in our like marketing strategy.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
No video yet.
Getting there.
I definitely want to get there, and I'll tell you why. Because if that's okay, can I just jump in?
Sure, please.
Yeah, I mean, so one of our strategies for kind of getting the word out about Third City and getting people on board with our mission is really involving people in the conversation from the beginning. And so our plan is to have seminars and open forums on particular topics that are really geared towards solutions for urban development. And we'll be inviting panelists from all over, this region and beyond to come in and share their best practices, and also look into, and also people who are working here in those fields, if there are any, to kind of come up with creative solutions for this area, and eventually get people on board to create projects out of that. And so one of the ways that we wanted to document everything that was happening here in Stockton was through the podcast.
Sure.
And we want to have video, obviously, of those seminars and the feedback that we get from people too. So
that's really wonderful to kind of be a hub of that. There's a lot of different things going on there that you mentioned. Times have changed. We have all these innovations that we can put into practice. We have obviously an economic situation that we're dealing with and working our way through. And so that also, any crisis has opportunity in there. And it's kind of like you're connecting the dots and bringing them together and bringing these resources to our community. What are some of the things that you've found, and some of the things that we're going to be seeing coming out of the third city?
Yeah, so our most recent episode was about community building and building together, and some of the successes and pitfalls that come out of that. So we were looking at, what kind of community projects have been done in this area, or what kind of revitalization projects have been done in this area where the community has been involved, and also what other projects are there across the country that have been done that really involve people from all different backgrounds. And so locally we looked at the bike plan update, which was done, it's in progress, but we saw, that there were challenges with getting the community engaged in the process.
Right.
And I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that many people haven't been asked to participate in the process of developing this place.
Sure.
And many people haven't really been able to have a say,
Yeah.
other than politically. And so, they face challenges with getting people to share their feelings about how we improve bicycle infrastructure in this city.
Right.
The other project that we looked at was in Baltimore, which was a really interesting project. One of the contributors for Third City had a friend that he met at school and at Harvard, and he basically connected back with her, and she had been working on a project called the Inner Harbor Project. And I don't know if you got a chance to listen to the podcast, but basically she invited youth to participate in strategies for reducing police brutality and just some of the tensions that youth and police had in the Inner Harbor. And so her experience was obviously different because she wasn't really soliciting advice from the general public, but she was working directly with youth.
Right.
And I think that that's something that we have an opportunity to do here in Stockton. And that's something we're looking at moving forward for sure. One of the projects that we're currently seeking funding for is an urban fellowship program that incorporates youth and scholars from across the country to come into this community and work with local nonprofits to do some data collection and research on specific areas of interest for these nonprofits and get the youth involved in and engaged in the process. So they obviously, we're targeting students between 17 to 20, so they're out of high school, but they're probably left behind by the system and maybe not quite ready to go to a 4-year, or just kind of trying to figure out their path maybe while they're at Delta.
Right.
And hopefully get them some hands-on skills so that they can, when they do transfer to a 4-year, or when they do find out what they're looking to do later in life, it'll be more applicable, and they'll definitely feel more of an intense connection to the work that they're doing and apply it. So,
talking about creating opportunities.
Exactly.
Right. So those would be like job opportunities for young people to get involved. And data research, I mean, it's really a big deal for organizations, for them to know where to apply the need, whether they're being successful in their operations or whether, they're able to meet other needs and provide resources as well. So, I mean, and that's a missing component for a lot of nonprofits.
Well, not only for nonprofits, but for this area in particular, I think a lot of the work that's being done to improve Stockton, while good in nature, there isn't a lot of follow-up or looking back at, okay, did what we try actually succeed?
Yeah.
And if so, then that's great. How do we do more of it? How do we scale it and make it have a larger impact? And if not, then how do we tweak it and tailor it so that it will? And I think that that's kind of what we want to be able to bring long-term. I think we're going to start with nonprofits, but we would love to scale into maybe some city or county positions. I know that there is definitely a need at the local level for more capacity.
Right.
Whenever we've had conversations, it's like, well, we don't have the capacity to look at to collect data. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we want to bring to the table, and just one way to try and help us figure out if what we're doing is good or not.
Sure.
So.
Now, another thing you mentioned about bringing people in, people whose opinions maybe either wasn't asked for before, or maybe just not considered, and I think that's a really important component, because that's really when you talk about finding out if things worked and what's going on with that, and for people in the community to feel more involved could really help that along. When people are kind of like handed down with the this is what's going to happen, and then it's in somebody else's hands, and so if it goes well, it's on somebody else. If it doesn't, then it's still on somebody else, and then and it's hard for people to feel attached to that work or attached to that project or whatever it might be. And I think that's an important step when you're talking about bringing people in, because when we ask people their opinions, then they feel validated, they feel important, and then then they start to become involved, because they also now got to follow up and see how things are going. It's a great strategy. Yeah,
I think it's like the only way that you develop in a very healthy way. If you look at other cities, it's just most of the time there are experts making these decisions, and then if it works, that's great. If it doesn't, that's great. But here in Stockton, we have people that are definitely very talented, very qualified, and I think our goal too is to, one, increase the number of people who do have experience in these particular issues, and aren't just going to sit around and complain about how tough things are here, but are really going to bring forward some solutions for fixing things. But yeah, there are also people who, like I said, haven't been engaged in the process, and so for us, it's really critical that we bring them up to speed on the status quo, what has happened up until this point, and how do we change it in a positive way? Because I think one of the most detrimental things is if people feel helpless.
Sure.
It's that doesn't help us get move forward. But really just educating people on what is civics, and how do you get involved in the process? How do you educate yourself? And we want to establish a network of people that will help them get there. That will help all of us learn from each other faster.
Yeah.
So when you have this group of people, how many are in your group?
Well, working directly with Third City Coalition right now, we probably have about 10. But we have a base of about 500 people that are interested in the kind of community development work that we're doing.
Okay, so you mentioned podcasts, and you also mentioned other work. So can you tell us what projects you've been, or the 500 people are interested in working on?
Yeah, so right now we're actually in the process of developing a database that will collect and capture all the information that people are really interested in talking about. But just offhand, just things that we've collected in terms of paper data. People are interested in community gardening. People are interested in art, public art projects. things like that, like things that are definitely, there's a concept, lighter, quicker, cheaper. They're easy things that people can do together that will pay a huge benefit in terms of the community impact, but they don't cost a lot of money to do. And that's kind of where we're at right now, because it is all hands on deck here. And it is going to require the help of many people from many different backgrounds and a lot of different experiences to be able to say, you know what, I lived in this city and that didn't really work, and here's why. But it could work this way here in Stockton. And because we do have some unique circumstances here. You know, we have low cost real estate. We have a lot of people that are, I would say, underemployed. They're working for an organization, but they're not exactly in the perfect fit. So they have some free time where they can volunteer. And I think that that's what we really need to be able to tap into. And that's why we're trying to develop this network, this computer infrastructure, so that there's digital infrastructure, so that we can have people tell us, like, I'm interested in this. We can look at that, analyze it, and then put people into groups and create opportunities for them.
Yeah, building consensus and coalitions.
Exactly.
Definitely. And you know, access to information and resources, you know, really makes that happen. And you one of the things that, speaking of access, you know, we talk about sometimes the simple things. You mentioned technology and building that database and how valuable it is. There's also access to, you know, transportation. That's an issue that's big in our community. You know, public transportation, you know, has its challenges. And, you know, I mean, somebody, you know, in a vehicle could get from one side of town to the other in maybe 15 minutes. It might take them several hours on a bus or public transportation. And these are different issues in our community that really does require us coming together and having a conversation and putting together resources and seeing what's already out there, how is it working, all of that. And so seems like that's what Third City Coalition is focused on, is really kind of like making the work.
Well, you know, I think it's about, someone told me once, you know, it's about having the right people in the right room at the right time. And I think that that's what we are trying to orchestrate. And, you know, obviously in phases and specific topics that are most, you know, highest priority to maybe lower priority, but really just focusing on what can we do now? What's our low-hanging fruit that people always talk about? You know, what will get us there right now? And then how do we, you know, progress as time goes on, and as we become as we attract more people here, and as you know, young people decide to make a home here, I think that that's what we really need. We're also, you know, someone asked me, you know, there's all these young people in your group, but we're not, you know, it's not really, it's just that's who's kind of signed up for battle. But well, definitely it is come one, come all. Like, if you have an expertise in something, we know that we have a lot to learn from each other, and we have a lot to teach our young folks too.
Definitely. Yeah. But it's not a youth organization. It's for the whole community. Right. Come one, come all.
Yep.
Wonderful. We're speaking with Jasmine Leek from Third City Coalition. Of course, this is Stockton 360, KXVS, the voice of Stockton, soon to be on 92.1 FM. We are building that station, and with the help of our community, you know, we're getting there, and we know we'll be there soon. And we definitely appreciate all the people involved in that. Of course, this is Governor Don.
Professor Jimenez.
And we're talking with Jasmine Leek. We're going to go to just a short break. And when we come back, we want to talk about how this community urban development plan can play into the master plan for our city and our community. All right, we'll be right back. Stick around. More Stockton 360 on KXVS, the voice of Stockton.
on your FM dial.
92.1
KXVS.
DJ Nikki D.
London Mark.
Alex.
And you can catch us on the Rise and Shine 209 show.
We talk about music, sports, pop culture, and whatever we feel like talking about.
Anything funny, interesting that we can give you our insight to.
From 7 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Right here on KXVS.
The Voice of Stockton.
Right here on 92.1 FM. Coming soon.
All right, we are back. Stockton 360, KXVS, soon to be on 92.1 FM, broadcasting live from the voiceofstockton.org. You can catch our live stream right there, right now, and you can check us out here. We have the lovely Jasmine Leek with Third City Coalition here. This is Governor Don.
Professor Jimenez.
And, so we're talking about, what Third City Coalition is all about, which is creating opportunity, involving people in the conversation, looking for solutions, incorporating the different players and getting people involved. Like you said, having the right people in the room at the time. Tell us a little bit about the process. Now, we talked about, the getting the work done, putting it all together. But, of course, that involves working with the city, working with these different organizations, individuals, businesses. How does this conversation that Third City is having, how does that translate to getting things into the master plan of the city, getting things done?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think for us, we're really not there yet. Down the road, we do want to get into policy and larger scale projects that do involve the city or the county. Mm-hmm. But right now, we're still at the very grassroots level, mm-hmm. and we're looking at all these different sectors of the economy where, people are involved in business, whether it's large, corporate businesses or even small business, nonprofit organizations, philanthropists. We have like donors, local donors, and students and things like that. And we're trying to put those pieces together and figure out what is it that people want to do here and what's being done and where do we want to go, really?
Right.
And giving people the knowledge and the tools to say what they want, right? Like to be able to tell our elected officials, this is our plan. Like, we elected you, yes, but really what we see for the future of our city is this, and this. Mm-hmm. And that's the way that's the way in an ideal world, that's the way it's supposed to go. Obviously, I might be an idealist. I don't know, but I'm just going to try it and see how it goes. Yeah. I feel like if people felt engaged in the process, they would want to hold their leaders accountable.
Definitely.
And so I think right now we're not really telling people how to think or how to vote or how to feel about a certain particular issue, but rather just to pay attention and see what it really means to be involved in civics and in community.
Sure. I mean, the whole idea of being proactive instead of reactive. You're there. We know these issues out here, and when we meet our challenges by reacting to them, and then we're always kind of like behind the game, and we're always at the worst financial options because when you're putting out fires, the damage is done.
Right.
And so, getting people together into the conversation, having these great discussions and bringing the right people together is so necessary. And I think it's really great that, I mean, where did this idea come from?
Yeah. Is that your baby?
It's kind of my baby. No, I mean, I just so I've been involved in community since I moved home.
Yes.
Like I said, I dove in and jumped into a lot of different projects and organizations and had a lot of different conversations with people. Obviously, I was the former director at Huddle, which is Yeah, which was a co-working space downtown, and a really great space.
Yeah, it is.
I love it.
Yeah.
Huddle 2.0 coming online.
Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah, and so I got involved with the development that way, and really kind of, you know, when I came on board, Huddle had maybe like 3 or 4 tenants in the building, and it was beautiful. Like, it was gorgeous, modern design, but there weren't really a lot of people there. There were people there. There were small, like, startup companies there. But it just, you know, my friend Tim, who passed away in September.
Oh, yeah, we do. We know.
He had great intentions for the space, and obviously he was super involved in everything that's happening downtown, and just had he had his hands in a lot of different projects, and Huddle was his baby, really, and I came on board in April of last year or I guess it wasn't last year, the year before.
Right.
Maybe it was last year. I'm getting my years mixed up. I came on board to the team, and I was like raring to go. I quit my job to do this job that wasn't going to pay me. Because I just felt so strongly about downtown Stockton and all the things, all the potential that it had. And I saw how busy Tim was, and at the time his wife Katie was working it and also creating stock market.
Right.
And so I said, please, like, let me take this on. I studied one of my core curriculums was entrepreneurship and small business at Pacific. And so I said, please, like, I feel this intense connection to this place, and I really want to see what we can do here. I think it's amazing what you started, but, you know, give me the reins.
Yes.
And so took over the space, and within a year, within 6 months to a year, we were full.
Wow.
The space was created for technology-based companies, and they were really looking for companies from Silicon Valley or even like local developers or web designers and things like that to come into the space, but just didn't have enough to really fill the space.
Right.
And so I said, what about nonprofits? What about smaller companies that are really looking to work in a creative space, that want to give back to their community and want to be involved in what's going on downtown.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, we'll see how it goes. And we ended up filling up the office, and, you know, it's been a really great space.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, I was involved in the development, the growth strategy for moving into the new space. Obviously, you know, like I said, we filled up within, so by year 1 we were full. And now the space is going to be like 3 times bigger. It's going to be moving into a corner location in downtown. It's a prime spot for an office, and they got 2 great restaurants going in underneath.
Nice.
But I left in May of this year, 2016, to really found Third City Coalition, because I felt like I was limited in what I could do working with Huddle as a co-working space and 10 Space as a real estate development company. So, so I kind of handed the reins off to Matt Amon.
Who's awesome, by the way.
He was super awesome.
Yeah,
super awesome. So thanks for correcting me.
So he's got it humming along. He's like taking it to a completely new level, which I love to see. I think, Huddle became my baby. And so, when you know that you're kind of supposed to go on this different path, it's really hard to let go.
Yes,
but
tell me about it.
Matt I could not ask for a better person to take it on.
Yeah.
And, it's just, what we're really trying to do is look at the broader picture of this development that's happening in Stockton. It's not just downtown. There's obviously places like the Miracle Mile and South Stockton, which has long overdue for development. And how do we do this the right way so that the communities and the boundaries of downtown are not impacted negatively? Or how do we at least mitigate some of that? Because we've all seen what's happened in communities like Oakland and San Francisco, and it's not great. And a lot of times people ask me, like, this person's being pushed out of this community. We should talk to them about the opportunity in Stockton. And I'm just, it hurts me because I know how people feel when they're connected to a place.
Yeah.
And it must be really, really sad for people to have to leave where they've made their place in the world, and because someone was greedy.
Yeah.
And like someone wanted to take advantage, or someone wants more for themselves. And so, that's why I feel strongly about this particular project, because Stockton is my hometown, and I know that it's not the only city across the country where people are being forced to deal with situations like this, where they're having to look at other communities. I have seen beautiful things come out of it. I don't know if you've had a chance to talk with Emily and Jared Rustin.
Not yet.
But they bought a building in downtown Stockton last year, and it's Jared is a furniture maker, and his wife now. They just got married like 2 weeks ago.
All right. Congrats.
They had a very unique opportunity here in Stockton to build his shop, and they're living in their building. It's a warehouse downtown. They've built it out so that they have their home inside of it.
Nice.
And, they lived in San Francisco prior to that. And, they've really embraced Stockton, and I think vice versa. We've embraced them. Emily's on our team at Third City, and she's just extremely creative, like got great ideas, and hasn't come in with the idea like, I'm from San Francisco, and you're lucky to have me here. She hasn't come in with that kind of an attitude, but rather
that doesn't fly too well out here anyway.
No, well, and she's been very, willing to listen and willing to do the hard work that we have to do here, and so it's been really nice. And I'm, hopefully we can get more people who have that opportunity to invest in this community, not just their financial dollars, but their hearts too.
Yeah.
And so I love what we're doing. It's really cool.
That's great. Now, I think that it's really important that you made that change with the huddle to kind of incorporate more than just the tech sector. And I think it did a great service to the area and to the downtown development, because people are aware of what's going on in that building, and you got the road finch going on out of there, and so it's just like the cool incubator for Stockton right now, business incubator. And I think that was a great decision to kind of expand it that way, and it seems like that Third City Coalition is like taking it to the next level now. Making it you have now this kind of timeline, and you're keeping track of what's going on, but also you're involving more people in the conversation.
I see it as an economic development think tank.
Yes. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's where we want to go with it. I think as we progress, and as we we have mechanisms in place to become research certified, and and really do some of the data collection, and also just put out the reports on what's being done here. I'm really excited for what it becomes. I don't have like a plan in terms of, I have a very like loose plan in terms of how it comes to be, because I don't really see Stockton as this like puzzle piece that has this puzzle that has all these pieces scattered around. I really see it like there's a blank canvas, and we have all these different mediums to create a really cool piece of abstract art.
Sure.
And but I think a lot of people feel like we should have all the answers, and I don't really feel that way. Like I don't feel like anyone has all the answers. As much as people want to try to convince you that they have the right solutions for everything, I think we have a very unique opportunity to create something really cool together.
Sure.
And so potentially a think tank.
Well, certainly,
it is,
and it's really, it's really a great time, I think, for a community to focus on where they're going. Is in our state, in our area. There are a lot of important changes, that we have to face. Particularly environmental changes, climate changes, economic changes. We are. Have this great push in California towards clean energy and doing things, in this innovative way. We see that there's a lot of opportunity, but we gotta have the conversation, and we gotta see like you talk about the blank canvas, the potential of what we can do. Because a city that's growing, or getting, finding its direction or finding its new direction, can do a lot if we explore these options, and especially if we're doing things that are sustainable or progressive, or like you said, could help positively impact or influence other communities. When we come back from break, we want to talk about what you think some of our top issues are, and in our community, and the need to address building the community consensus. This is Stockton 360, Governor Don,
Professor Jimenez.
And we're here with our guest from Third City Coalition, Jasmine Leek. You are listening to KXVS, the voice of Stockton, at thevoiceofstockton.org. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back to talk more with Jasmine Leek. Stick around.
Great radio. At the Voice of Stockton, the GoFundMe is a way to help ensure you have great radio here in Stockton. You can be the Voice of Stockton on KXVS. Go to our website, thevoiceofstockton.org, to get more information. Right here on 92.1 FM. Coming soon.
Coming soon.
On your FM dial.
92.1
KXVS.
We are back, Stockton 360, live on KXVS, the voice of Stockton, at thevoiceofstockton.org, soon to be on 92.1 FM, right here in the lovely city of Stockton, broadcasting from Stone Soup Studios from the John Moriarty Center, right here on the lovely Miracle Mile. This is Governor Don.
Professor Jimenez.
And we're talking with our special guest from Third City Coalition, Jasmine Leek. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. It's a
Our
pleasure.
honor.
Yes, indeed. And we really enjoying the conversation. You coming back and working on this issue, working on these things in our community, and other people doing that is really the key. We have this kind of thing going on in our community where we kind of get bled of some of our best, where since there are limited opportunities for higher education and also even in career development, a lot of times our best and our brightest, they just go off and they don't come back. So and so to have you back and for you to be applying your efforts here, is very much appreciated. And the more time that you spend on it, the more you'll definitely know that. Thank you for coming back to Stockton to work on these issues. Now, when we went to break, we were talking about the need to address issues that we need to address in order to build community consensus. What are some of the biggest issues, or if not maybe obstacles to that?
Yeah, I think, some people will say like crime and safety and things like that. And obviously, I feel like those things are definitely needed. But I think that the challenges that we face are no different than any other city. I think the way that we address them and the way that the solutions that we implement are going to be different. In my world, the top three things really are housing, education, and jobs and development, economic development. On the housing piece, I think if we're working to attract and recruit talent for this area or even retain talent, I think about people who are going to school at Pacific or people who are considering coming to Stockton. They need a quality place to live. And I think right now we have a lot of property that's vacant and needs to be revitalized or needs to be reinvested in. And then because right now, like if you were to go out and look for a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, you're looking probably $1,200, $1,300 a month in a neighborhood that's safe. And that's just unaffordable. And there are places that are definitely far more affordable than cities on our surrounding us, like Lodi or Lathrop, or I don't even think, do they have apartments in Lathrop? I don't know. I feel like it's all like single family homes. But I think we definitely need to look into multifamily housing and more affordable housing options. And I'm really excited to see the affordable housing project in downtown Stockton open up. It's a beautiful space. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah. Cal Weber 40. It's gorgeous. And that's what people need. Like, people need a quality place to live that they can be proud of, and it doesn't have to be a mansion. But, and I think what we've found is that there are a lot of people who are willing to sacrifice and maybe like room share or live with other people, if they, were involved in something that they felt very strongly about. So housing for sure. I've been talking a lot about jobs and economic development since I took on my position with Huddle. I think creating opportunities for entrepreneurs and also for young people in general who are coming out of college, the entry-level positions. Our pay rates are just not competitive enough. When you're a young person and you're considering where you want to be in the world, we just, we're at 80 to 85% of the national average here in terms of what we pay. And we have to pay people what they're worth. And we have a lot of really interesting and talented people looking at this place, but it's very difficult to get into a position that's going to be able to support them. And lastly, education. Like I can't believe I almost forgot that. It's extremely important that we look at how are we training our youth? How are we preparing our youth for their next step in life? Some of the work that I've done has gotten me in touch with people who are doing a lot of the work in South Stockton with Stockton Unified School District. And I was very disappointed to hear that 1 in 3 students that graduate from Stockton Unified School District are able to even apply to college, to a 4-year school.
Wow.
I think a lot of people don't hear those figures or hear like hear what we're doing, but that's the most recent data shows that only 1 in 3 are able to actually even apply. Wow. So where are those other two people going?
The majority.
Where are they going? What are they doing? Are they going to Delta? Are they going to get jobs in the trades? And so we've been, really supporting people who have been looking into this as one of their most important issues, and trying to help support them and give them resources and connect them with people that can help.
And that's a long-term effort. And I think a lot of times we keep hearing about the issue and we keep hearing about the need, but the investment is a long investment required. And so, it's a lot of times I think people might feel like, wow, what's going on? Where's the progress happening? And, this is the same thing we heard before. But, when we talk about the maximizing the value of investment, you could almost pick nothing better than in education.
Well, definitely, and especially in comparison to other things that we fund, like prisons
Yeah.
and incarcerating people.
Yeah. How about
You know,
that?
it's very, it's a harsh reality, and it's just, how do we make up for that? That's what we're, you know, obviously we encompass a very broad scope of the work that we do, but it's definitely on our minds.
How much of it is mentality or attitude? Like, I've noticed sometimes it's a strange sentiment that I get, I pick up on, is that there's a lot of people who really feel like that you shouldn't, like, automatically have access to higher education. Like, it's something that if people somehow get access to higher education, it's going to somehow take away from, I mean, how could it take away from anything? Like, it's you know, it's a rising tide that afloat all boats. You know, we're talking about people, they get a better education, then they get better opportunities, they earn more money, they pay more taxes, they're contributing members to society. Maybe they edged you out of that job, but then since you got the education too, you can go apply for another.
Yeah.
I mean, how much of it do you think is just about changing how people think about stuff, as opposed to really opening a door that might already be open?
Yeah, I think it's definitely 99% changing the culture here and across the country. I mean, this isn't the divides that we're seeing in amongst people isn't something that's just Stockton.
Right.
It's definitely it's on the national stage.
Yeah.
But I think, one of the things to really consider is, are we preparing people to be problem solvers? You know, more than like if college is the pathway, are we giving people an opportunity to make their place or have a role and in society? And so, I can't speak to the mentality that people have.
Yeah.
All we can do really is try to promote people getting involved and educating themselves on the issues that they're facing in their local universe,
Right.
and trying to encourage them to make better decisions that way.
And that's what Third City Coalition is all about.
Yeah.
It's really we were really happy to see it when we saw the podcast first time. We were like, "What?"
Yeah.
Gave each other high fives. Like, yeah. And
I know.
And of course, you are and will always be welcome to be on the program and to share with the Voice of Stockton. You are a Voice of Stockton. You know, that's why we chose that model, is because it's not when we say we're the Voice of Stockton, we mean like inclusively.
Sure.
You know, and it's the community that is that voice, and you definitely being a loud voice of Stockton is something that is going to do good things for our community. Where do you see Stockton in 5 years? Different organizations are working together. We see 10 Space out there. We actually have some great publications now, really highlighting great things. There's Positive Perspective Stockton. There's all sorts of nonprofit organizations working towards this. So, what do you see for Stockton in the next 5 years?
Oh man, I think one of the things that I really want to see is, I'd like to see people living downtown. I'd like to see more people coming from out of town to, visit Stockton and engage in, in community here, even if it's like as tourists.
Yeah.
I think, I like to see more kids going to college. Okay. Not that I think that college is the only pathway, but I would like to see that, 1 in 3 become 2.5 in 3 applying to college.
Yeah.
I think I would like to see more trade schools reopened or established.
Yeah.
And I would like to see more businesses, supported by the local community.
Yeah.
I think we have a lot of really great local businesses, and I'd like to see people out walking around, hanging out on the mile, going from shopping to having dinner and going out for a drink at Mile Wine Company, my favorite.
Right down the road.
Plug the homies.
But, I would like to see Stockton be on the map for something really great. And I know that there are a lot of really great things happening, and that are down the road, not even 5 years from now.
Sure.
But I think, I'd like to I'd like to see more people owning their homes and being able to invest in people from this area, being able to own a home and invest in property here.
Right.
I think property and real estate are one of the most vital ways to, people having that kind of skin in the game is the most critical part of developing this community and really feeling a part of it, and also closing the wealth gap.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
wow. Well, those are very optimistic, but I think doable. And especially, if your work with the Third City Coalition and as other groups, us included, feel like it's very important to keep sharing this information, keep inspiring this community, and being an outlet for resources and for work, figuring out ways to work together. One slogan I heard coming out of 10 Space in the huddle was something along the lines of the creative class inspires the business class. Maybe I got it. Maybe I paraphrased it poorly, but that is where we need to have this kind of appreciation for our diversity and valuing the different things. Now, everyone isn't a carpenter or a mechanic or a doctor, but we need all of these people in our lives, and putting forth a kind of a mentality to value what different types of people contribute. We don't all have to contribute the same, but we all got to be here.
yeah.
And this is our community. Tell us about some projects that Third City Coalition is working on.
So we have the fellowship program.
Right.
That's kind of top of mind because
Urban Fellowship.
the Urban Fellowship.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's great.
We want to get that up and running by next year.
All right.
We're still setting up for our seminars. We have an event coming up, actually a pretty small scale event, but I think it'll be really fun.
Yeah.
On August 25th.
Yeah.
At actually just down the street from you guys at Q225, the barbecue
Oh,
spot that
okay.
just opened up.
Nice.
Yeah, we're partnering up, piggybacking with Stockton Cash Mob. Do you guys know Lauren Sage from
No.
Stockton Cash Mob?
Not yet.
So she started this thing like a few years ago, and would go around to local businesses and tell people to come there that one day and kind of flood the business with people from the community.
Cash mob, I get it, like flash mob.
How neat.
Yeah, and so we'll be there tabling with them, talking about Third City and getting people signed up. And so that's coming up. I'm really excited about that.
Wow, how clever.
Yeah, she hadn't done it for a couple of years, and she came to me a few months ago and was like, I want to start back up, and let's do this together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, take it and run with it.
Exactly.
Cool.
And I'm really excited about that. But we've got that. We're moving into our own space actually coming up in the next couple months.
Nice.
Or next couple weeks actually. not
Where?
couple months. In downtown.
Okay.
We got a space on 5th floor of Court Tower, which is going to be
Nice.
super awesome.
It is.
You can see all these brick walls. I love downtown so much.
Yeah.
So much character. But so we're going to be moving in and kind of making our place there. We're going to be setting up for some workshops and things like that. So
Yeah.
we've got a lot of good stuff on the horizon. But we've done just recently. We had a National Night Out.
Yeah.
Right.
We participated in National Night Out and co-hosting it with
That was a
Downtown
big
Stockton
hit.
Alliance.
Yes.
Yeah, it was super fun and just kind of a different take on National Night Out because a lot of times the focus is just police partnerships.
Right.
And we wanted to really just have a good time, so we brought some people from the 1850 Collective in, and they did
Nice.
Cool.
a cool art project. So yeah,
Yes,
a lot of
yes.
good stuff.
Now, how do the listening audience, how do they find the podcast, and how do they follow you, support you, and also I'm
Get
sure you're
involved.
looking for involvement, suggestions, and other people to think on the think tank.
Yeah, definitely. So our podcast is on SoundCloud and iTunes. Go subscribe.
Yeah.
And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can email me hello@thirdcitycoalition.com if you want to get involved.
All right.
And we do have a sign up on our website. It's thirdcitycoalition.com. You can sign up to learn more about how to get involved with us.
Okay.
Well, we thank you for coming in, Jasmine Leek, Third City Coalition, and just a awesome community, inspiring contributor.
Leader.
Yes, indeed. So you'll come back again. You'll share
Definitely.
with us what you got going on and let us know what events you have happening so we can support as well. And of course, we want to, share the link. We'll share it for
Yeah.
you too.
Yeah, definitely.
I appreciate you coming
And also
in.
their event that's coming up. We should,
Yes,
we should
25th
have- Yeah,
of
on
August.
the 25th.
Yeah, I'll
We'll put it
send you
out
some
there.
more information.
Yeah, and I'll
Yeah.
get the contact info of your other co-worker or the other host.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Yes.
I have a
Organizer.
really great team, and they all are just, they have the best ideas. And
You can find more information at thirdcitycoalition.com. All right. And we definitely want to thank Jasmine Leek for coming in and sharing, and appreciate all that you do for the community. Appreciate you coming back home and bringing that great thing that you learned. You like went out there and gathered treasure, and you brought it home.
yeah,
Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you, Jasmine.
thanks for having me.
Oh, you're quite welcome. And make sure you check out Third City Coalition podcast, thirdcitycoalition.com. Get on the Facebook, like it, subscribe to YouTube, all those buttons. Click them all the buttons and the thumbs ups. Thank you for coming in. And, of course, you've been listening to Stockton 360 right here on KXVS, the voice of Stockton. This is Governor Don.
Professor Jimenez.
And we want to thank all of our sponsors. We want to thank Peace and Justice Network. We want to thank Hotel Furniture Liquidators. We want to thank Restore, Habitat for Humanity. We want to thank Leaders Urban Wear. Let's see. I think we have something right now is just buzzing me. I know we got a new sponsor. Oh.
Next show.
Yes. Thank you all our sponsors. Thank you for everyone who supports our station. We definitely want to thank William Story, our founder, and appreciate you very, very much out there. Stick around for more quality programming. Make sure you get on that voiceofstockton.org. Check us out on the live stream. There's more here on KXVS, the voice of Stockton, and we'll be back later. Have a good one.